Hello, everyone. Mariette Martinez here, popping in before the end of 2024. So it's December 2024. And if you've been following what I've been sharing online, and especially with my email newsletter family, I've been sharing about the importance of pausing and reflecting and dreaming into what's next for you. It could be next year or it can be next year and beyond. But the importance of really allowing yourself to pause and reflect and providing you some options on how to do that. So today, at the end of December, I was able to do a dreaming, reflecting, and goal setting session with an intimate group, and I created a very special guide for them to learn these practices, and then we were able to do it together. I know that many people don't have those spaces, those open, safe spaces to be able to do these kind of practices. And so it was really powerful for me to be able to give that to these ladies and have this time with them. But what I wanted to do for my entire online community is allow you all to also do this experience on your own or maybe bring in a friend. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to share with you the guide I created for them, which again, you all can go ahead and grab this guide as well and do this practice on your own. But let me go ahead and walk through it with you so that way you can have the full experience as well. So here we are, and the guide focuses on pausing, reflecting, and then starting the process, start building into your dreams and goals. For every guide that I provide, I also provide an opportunity to kind of think through some exploration tips as you start preparing to do the work. You want your heart and mind in it. You want that pen to paper experience. That's why you can write this all down if you'd like. And then when things come up, prioritize them, circle them, star them, use your highlighters, use your colored markers so you can really feel into what you're doing. So the first stage in this full experience is again to stop, pause, and reflect. And I love this quote. It's an anonymous quote, and it says, "Everything in your life is a reflection of a choice you have made. If you want a different result, then make a different choice." So you are making a choice now to pause and reflect so you can have more intentionality on what you're going to choose to do next. The first part of this guide are basically exercises you can take to do this reflection process. You can reflect all at once, meaning really brainstorm and brain journal and brain dump everything that comes up for you. You can use a blank slate, a blank canvas to reflect on your celebrations, on your challenges, on your milestones, on your memorable moments. And you can even reflect on things that maybe you started and kind of fell through the cracks, or things that you know that you've done and you want to do differently, or things that you've done and you don't want to do again, but you want to reflect on everything that's happened and that's coming through you in regards to this year. In this case, you'd be doing this for year 2024. As you start closing off your reflection time, and this should be a good 10 to 15 minutes of reflection, there may have been one particular incident, one particular moment, one particular milestone, one particular challenge that just keeps on coming up for you as you start writing that one moment or that one feeling or that one experience that maybe it went through the whole year. Maybe there was a challenge that just kept on coming up throughout the year. Allow yourself to write a little bit more about that as well. Why does that keep on coming up for you? Why does that stand out above the rest? Again, this is just self journaling, self reflecting. You're not judging yourself, you're just allowing everything to come through. Another way of doing this practice is actually to look at your year month by month. Now, this is personally how I prefer to do this work. And so, what I do is, again, I open up all of the areas of my life where I know I have things that I can reflect on. I open up my journals, I open up my calendar, I open up maybe my phone where I have highlight reels and the videos and photos and footage month by month, because now these smartphones actually categorize them for you by month. And I prefer to take note of my moments, my milestones, my projects, my peaks, my lows throughout the year on a month by month basis. So, for example, I just did this practice, and I did it with a group of ladies. And the first thing I did is again, I went again, got my journal and I did month by month by month. And that's just how things come through. So if that's a better practice for you, if that connects more with the way you are able to do this reflection, then feel free to go and have everything set up in front of you, your calendars, your folders, wherever the reflection information lives, where it lives, and then start jotting down what happened throughout the year, month by month. And then another great practice after you do this is to go ahead and maybe separate all of the things that you wrote down and kind of allow yourself to celebrate them. So, what were your wins? What were you really excited about? What moments, milestones, or concepts that you created turned into life, breathed life into them? What felt very successful? What brought you joy? What did you learn the most from? And so, those can go in your wins. In your learns could be areas that maybe you learned from these things, but you may not want to take them with you, or maybe you're considering them a failure or a loss, but they're not necessarily a failure or a loss if you learn from it. So those can go into the learns area. Maybe it's not something you really want to do again. Maybe it's something that you said you again you learned from it, but you're going to release it and not do it anymore. But you want to keep that in mind because if you did it, then it's something that's part of you now. And you may need to decide on whether you need to release it, whether you need to have closure on it, or maybe you want to go ahead and improve it and make it better. So, again, being able to put it in its right category may help you in regards to what you're going to choose to do next. Also, an opportunity here is again, if something keeps on coming up for you, maybe you got a new job, maybe you sold your business, maybe you decided to take on a new partner, or maybe your partner left your business, maybe you had a big life change in your personal life, and so maybe you need a moment to really reflect on one thing. One thing. So here's another blank canvas moment to say, I need to just really write about this one challenge that kept on coming up this year. Maybe it's still here with me for next year. Maybe I'm still dealing with this challenge and I need to just write about it. I just need to get it off my chest. I need to maybe give I got to give myself permission to talk about it and to write about it. And maybe this blank canvas is going to be one that you're going to write about and then you want to rip it up and toss it out. You just need to get it off your chest. So a lot of times when you start doing these kind of reflections, things come up, things that you're not even aware of, and you want to go deeper into that one thing. Here's that opportunity to go ahead and do that. And then when you do that, you can also ask yourself, so what supports me from this deeper reflection? So now that I wrote it all down, do I want to just like move on? Was that my closure? Or maybe now that I wrote it all down, it's not as bad as I thought it was. So maybe it's something I can work on. And so sometimes when you allow yourself to do this debrief and this deeper work, allow yourself to also realize maybe something came through this that I do want to take with me. So that is your opportunity to do that. Okay, everyone, that's really the power of self-reflection, of deeper reflection. And now it's time to really know ourselves so we can move forward with what we want to do next. Now, my dear friend Robina, who I also toasted this opportunity with, this goal setting opportunity session with, she covers a lot about the importance of values and aligning your work and aligning your choices around your values so that way your beliefs and your behaviors are all tied into that alignment. So, we're going to go ahead and cover the importance of value alignment. And so, really, what I want you to just kind of note here is that I gave you an opportunity to kind of talk about values and learn about values. And that way, you can go ahead and use this portion to maybe do some of your own values work. So that way, you can feel like whatever you choose to do next is aligned with your values. And then you've done all this work of reflection. So, what you can do now is you can go back and reflect again, but this time you're trying to look for patterns. You're trying to see cues or opportunities for you to make connections on everything that you wrote down. So, we gave a few examples in today's session. So, for example, when you're looking at what happened this year and you're coming to a close of the year, can you rank them from highest joy being number 3 to lowest joy being number 1? Or maybe you want to do 1 through 5, with 5 being the highest joy, 1 being the lowest joy. Do you want to rank these so that way you can really feel into what you want to do next? Also, when did these things happen? So, based on when something happens, you could have possibly given it more life or you could have given it more attention, but it happened at a time where you didn't have the time or other things were falling on your plate. And that's why things fell through. And so, allow yourself to say, hey, I could have possibly given this more attention, but it happened during my busiest time of the year. And so, if there's something that you did really want to work on, but it always happens in the busier time of the years, then maybe you want to do it at a different time. So just the when is also really important. And then also, when you start seeing everything that you wrote down, everything that you work on, all your times, your challenges, your moments, things that you put on your list, things that you took off your list, do they fall into categories? And so this is an area that I learned early on when I started doing business planning and goal setting, from the Zig Ziglar planner. It's one of my favorite planners. And so he talks about life areas, and that sometimes when you really want to be able to take the next step and focus with more clarity and more intention, you can see your life in categories, and then you can decide on where do you need to focus more energy in a category. So, for example, here's an example of a category wheel, and this one has relationships, health, finances, professional, and personal. And so, in this wheel, first of all, you could even say, where do I rank in this wheel? Like, where is my energy going? Maybe my energy is heavily going in the professional and business, but not as much in relationships and family. And so you can first even look at the wheel from where are you putting your energy? Because if you once you have categories of your life areas, you can decide on where you're putting your energy. But more importantly, you can put all those things that came up and all the things you want to now focus on and spend more energy on for the going year, and you can put them in their categories as well. So let's say, for example, I want to go ahead and focus more on the relationships that I have and working, and serving my family, supporting my family. Well, first, what does that mean to you to support your family? Does that mean spending more time with them? Does that mean having more quality time with them? So maybe you don't have to have as many hours, but when you're with them, you want to be present. You want to really build that relationship. Maybe it means I want to spend at least every month, I want to spend time with a new one of the people in my community, but really spend time with them, like have a call with them and have a coffee date with them. So, what does that look like? And then what you can do is you can look at what went well on this goal. So if you've already done it, if you tried it out already, what went well by building out relationships and community and family, and you could possibly keep doing it. So in the example of me, one of my goals for 2024 was to have coffee dates, or in Spanish, I call my mi cafecitos. So have that time with them. At least I would schedule one or two a month, sometimes three or four a month, have that 1 hour and really build meaningful relationships with people. So that was something that went well. You also could think about what didn't go well. So maybe someone I scheduled with that, we kept on, missing each other or rescheduling. So maybe it doesn't go well when we schedule it because we keep on canceling on each other, for example. So if you've already attempted this goal, if you've already attempted doing this for yourself and for your next steps, you also want to focus on what you've done well and what haven't you done well, and how can you improve that. But you also can focus on what you attempted to do with your relationships and family, for example, and just didn't work out. So, for example, like for me, I'm a sports mom. All my kids are in sports, and I've tried to say, oh, I want to spend more time with my kids, so I'm going to do all these sports, and I'm going to volunteer all this time. And at the end of the day, that actually wasn't as much fun or much quality time as I thought, because then I'm worried about all the different things we got to do versus what if I just chose one sport per child and just went all in on that? So again, that may be something I need to release. Like it just didn't work well to kind of fill up my whole time because I'm not actually serving the ultimate goal, which was to have more quality time. That's just an example. And then lastly, you can also kind of rate, like how are you doing in that category? So for example, relationships and family, if you're looking at your wheel, are you doing good? Are you doing not so good? Are you doing pretty good? Are you doing excellent, right? Again, this is just an opportunity for you to start feeling in where you want to put your time, your energy, and your goals. And so after you've used that example, if you want to use life areas as an opportunity to build out your goals, then we go ahead and we start focusing. So I love this idea of focus, referring to follow one course until successful, because you want to now say, okay, I'm going to focus on this one thing, one area, one goal, one item related to my relationships. I'm going to focus on this one area related to my business. Again, we all have multiple goals. I know that. But this is just the act and the practice of writing something down, of being able to say, this is what I'm going to focus on. And whenever you say you're going to focus on something until successful, there's got to be some action around it. So, what could be 1 to 3 action items that you can go ahead and really, truly get done? Also, what does it relate to? Does it relate to a specific area in your life? And then, of course, when are you going to doing it? Putting it on your calendar, giving it I like to call it a delivery date, not a deadline. I don't like deadlines. I don't like that word, deadline, but you can give it a due date or a delivery date. When am I going to try to get this done by? Now, if it's not done by that time, that's fine too, but this is just an opportunity for you to really step into your potential, step into what's next, and give yourself a due date to get that done. The last thing I wanted to share, and I'm going to go ahead and refer to another video where I go much deeper into the intentional goal process, is once you have that goal, there is a real methodology, a real opportunity to create it as an intentional SMART goal. So the SMART goal is that specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound goal. And so I like to combine the idea of intentionality with creating a very SMART goal. And I actually call it a smarter goal because I like to add evaluate the goal as well and reward yourself for the goal. And so I have a separate video on that I will share here in this one. I'll link to it. But the process is, if you've done all of this work, my friends, you need to make sure you take this reflection, you take this deeper work, you take your opportunity to organize and prioritize and put it all into writing and create a goal around it. But it can be an intentional, smarter goal. And you can do that by really stepping into the process. And I have an 8 step process for you to go ahead and step it into an intentional goal. And so this is the guide that I'm going to give to all of you. Again, you are your own guide. You are the guide to your true north. This is your opportunity for you to step into your next potential, into what's next for you with intentionality, with energy, and you don't have to do it alone. If you've been with us, either through the email newsletter family where we've been sharing, or you actually join the goal setting session, or you're going to join any of my future sessions, because I do a lot of business planning and goal setting in January and February. I do it with my partners. I do it also with Master Book. So if you're in any of that, feel free to continue this energy, but I don't want you to lose the energy or be waiting until January or February. You can start it now, and that's why I wanted to go ahead and gift you this guide. Okay, everyone, if you have any questions about the guide at all, just share right here in this video. Again, thank you all that attended our live session. Thank you all that have been reading the goal setting emails. Have yourself an incredible, incredible rest of 2024. Best of health and love and hope and quality time with your loved ones. And I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.